fear on the farm. It was a warm summer evening in 1817. The sun cast a golden light over Tennessee's Red River Valley, casting shadows across the Bell family's vast cornfields. After a hard day's work, John Bell closed the barn door and walked home. His wife Lucy sat in a rocking chair on the porch with their young son Richard in her arms. 15-year-old Betsy was in the kitchen, helping her mother prepare dinner. Everything was ordinary that evening, until John Bell saw a strange creature in the field. John saw a figure on the edge of his farm. It was neither a man nor an animal. It was something with huge coal-black eyes and a strangely large head. The creature, which looked half dog, half rabbit, was staring at John. It took a few steps back, then suddenly disappeared. John Bell squeezed his rifle, but the creature was already gone. He chalked it up to exhaustion, shook his head, and went home. But after that night, the Bell family would never be the same. Night whispers. In the beginning, things were just small details. At night, they heard strange rustling in the house that they could not understand. At first, they thought it was the wind or the natural creaking of old wooden floors. But one night, Betsy woke up screaming. Her comforter had been pulled off the bed and thrown into the corner of the room. Betsy clung tearfully to her mother. "Mommy, someone was standing on the edge of my bed. I couldn't see his face, but I felt him breathing." Her mother tried to calm her down, but Lucy Bell was not at ease either. At night, she too felt that something was moving around the house. The curtains fluttered by themselves. Sometimes whispers could be heard in empty rooms. But most frightening of all was the sound of banging on the walls. Every night, just after everyone had gone to bed, there was a hard knocking sound from inside the house. At first, they thought it was coming from the door or the wall. But sometimes it came from the kitchen, sometimes from the attic, sometimes from inside their rooms. One night, John Bell was asleep in his bed when he heard a muffled laugh. When he opened his eyes, he felt something stirring in the darkness of the room. Someone was standing at the foot of the bed. When John jumped up and turned on the lamp, he couldn't see anyone. But the room suddenly had a foul odor, like rotten eggs. Unseen hands. The strange events were not limited to the night. One morning, Betsy Bell was brushing her hair when she suddenly felt a warmth on her face. When she looked in the mirror, a red handprint appeared on her cheek. It was as if someone had slapped her. Betsy screamed. When her mother Lucy and her brother Drew came running into the room, the mark was still on her cheek, but no one else was in the room. After that, the attacks on Betsy intensified. At night, an unseen hand would drag her out of bed, pull her hair, and a weight would fall on her. Sometimes Betsy felt a hand squeezing her throat and had difficulty breathing. The family began to tell their neighbors about the events, and the town gossip spread. The Bell family farm was cursed. The witch's voice. A few weeks later, the presence in the house started talking. At first, it was only in muffled whispers, but as time passed, the voice became clearer. One night, just as John Bell was about to fall asleep, he heard a woman's voice in his ear. "John Bell, I'm watching you. Your death is coming." When John opened his eyes, he saw no one in the room. But that was only the beginning. A few nights later, that voice addressed the entire Bell family sitting around the dining room table. Everyone could hear that voice. "I'm Kate. I'm here, and I'll never leave you alone." The curse of John Bell. John Bell started to get sick. At first, it started with mild headaches, but over time, the illness worsened. His hand trembled, his muscles contracted, and he had difficulty speaking. Doctors could not find the cause of his illness. On a cold December morning in 1820, a scream came from John Bell's room. Lucy Bell was kneeling beside her husband's bed, crying. John's body was still, not breathing. On his bedside table was a small bottle containing a strange liquid. Lucy took a spoonful and gave it to one of the farm cats. The animal died instantly, writhing. Just then, there was a terrible laugh that echoed through the house. That's it. I got rid of that damn man. Even during John Bell's funeral, that invisible laughter echoed over the grave, heard throughout the town. The end of the legend? After John Bell's death, the bell which was silent for a while. But 7 years later, whispers could be heard again in Betsy's room. I'm back. Today, the bell which is said to still exist in Tennessee. Those who have traveled to the site of the Bell farm claim to sometimes hear Betsy Bell's screams at night. How about you? Would you dare to camp one night on the old Bell farm in Tennessee? Or would you be one of those who run away screaming when you hear a whisper in the dark of night?